triumph, but also a testament to the power of storytelling in shaping societies and inspiring generations. Manthan holds a special place in the history of Indian cinema, not only for its revolutionary approach, but also for its international recognition. In 1976, this film was screened at the prestigious Cannes Film Festival, bringing Indian cinema to the forefront of global appreciation. Its selection at Cannes was a defining moment, showcasing the depth and impact of socially conscious storytelling. Today, nearly 5 decades later, its message remains as relevant as ever. This screening is part of the second edition of the French Film Festival, within a special section dedicated to Indian directors selected at Cannes. It is a fitting tribute to the long-standing connection between Indian cinema and the most prestigious film festival in the world. And Mr. NASIRUDDIN SHAH, after 4 of your films were selected at the Cannes Film Festival over the years, you made your first personal journey to Cannes just last year, when the festival honored you and your wife by screening MANTHAN in the Cannes Classics section. Today, the journey comes full circle as we celebrate this extraordinary film once again, this time within our French Film Festival. Above all, we are truly honored to welcome in person the legendary actor, Mr. NASIRUDDIN SHAH. Yeah. A luminary whose contributions to cinema need no introduction. It is a privilege to have here to deliver a memorial speech in honor of the great SHYAM BENEGAL, a filmmaker whose legacy will forever be etched in the history of cinema. Thank you for being part of this special evening. Let us continue to celebrate cinema. We are just the second day. There is 7 more, the 1st of March. Its power to connect us and the visionaries who shape its future. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Good evening, everybody. Namaskar. There are 2 reasons why I didn't watch Manthan today. The first, of course, is the cricket match between India and Pakistan, which we are going to win, by the way. And the second is that it brings back so many memories and reminds me of so many of the people who were crucial in its making, who are no longer with us, some of whom were dear friends, some were associates. But I would like to dedicate this evening's screening to all those who have gone on to another world. And there are so many, most recent being SHYAM himself, Girish, Smita, Amrish, and many of the assistants who worked with SHYAM. For me, it's a very special film, not only because its worth has been finally recognized, but I wouldn't say finally, it did do well when it was shown, much to everyone's surprise. And it was my second film as an actor. My first film was Nishant, also with SHYAM BENEGAL, and Nishant was also pretty successful. But and everybody else in Nishant got work after Nishant, except me. I got a lot of good reviews, but that was all. And I wondered what I'd done wrong. What was wrong with me? Why am I not getting any work? Everybody, Girish, Amrish, Mohan Agashe, Kulbhushan Khatanga, Smita, Savita Bajaj, everyone. And I was left with nothing but twiddling my fingers. And then Shyam told me he was thinking of another film, and I saw a file which said GMCFF. Well, that sounded like a sound effect from a Don Martin comic. I couldn't understand what this was. I later discovered it meant the Gujarat Milk Marketing Federation and Society. And Shyam told us about this film. Now, the title that appears, about 5 lakh farmers, is not just a sentimental gesture toward the farmers. 5 lakh farmers actually contributed 2 rupees each, and it amounted to 10 lakhs, which in the year 1976 was enough to make a film with so many characters on location, house them, feed them, transport them, and pay them. And if you think about it, in today's evaluation, 10 lakhs would be the cost of a single day's shooting on a regular Hindi film. But we all had faith in Shyam, most of all me, because I knew that he gave me my start. If it hadn't been for him, I don't know where I would have ended up. And everybody was saying, this film about milkmen, who is going to see it? How can it be any good? It will be like a documentary. But when the film came out, it's probably been Shyam's most successful film to date. If you the ratio of the cost of the film to the amount of money it made. And the very village in which we shot it did not have a milk cooperative at that time. There were a few. Mostly the headquarters was in a place called Anand in Gujarat. Dr. Varghese Kurian, who started the Amul revolution, is the one on whose life this film is based. Not his life, but is one of his experiences with a village which resisted. But he decided to look at it in a positive way. And so we all made this film, I can't say under very difficult circumstances. We were all fed and housed and paid a modest fee, all of us. And the film came out and it received a lukewarm reception in the first week. And everyone said, see, we told you. But somehow or the other, it stayed on for a second week. And in the second week, I went to see it in a theatre. And I was astonished at the reaction the film was getting. The public was lapping it up. There was applause at several places. There was laughter, because there is a bit of humor in the film. And I wasn't recognized because I was looking quite different from the character I played. So it wasn't my first taste of being recognized. And it went on to run for a good 5 or 7 weeks in the same theatre, in a single screen theatre like this one. And it was after Manthan that I started getting work, because people realized that I was the same Ningampoop who acted in Nishant, who had sort of suddenly drunk the magic elixir of Asterix or something, because I was a completely different person, and that was the attempt. I was at that time fresh out of the Film Institute, and I believed very deeply in the American method. I'd read about the examples of actors like Mr. Brando and Robert De Niro and so on. And so I I sort of resolved I would follow the same path. I had also been, while at the Film Institute, greatly influenced by the cinema of other countries that I saw, particularly the films from France, from Italy, from Germany, from Sweden. And I realized that this was the kind of actor I wanted to become. Not the singing, dancing hero. In any case, I knew I was not qualified for that kind of thing. So I never bothered my head with that. Whereas a lot of my classmates would spend the whole day dancing to film songs. I'm not particularly fond of Hindi film music, and I couldn't be bothered to. And I've always felt very foolish when I've had to do a song. In fact, I'm often asked, what is the most difficult thing you've ever done as an actor? And I tell them it's singing a romantic song with a girl who's half my age. The most difficult thing. And I've never been able to do it convincingly. But it was after Manthan that offers started coming in. And that is why I owe a tremendous debt to this film. My method acting, I was cured of my method acting because I told SHYAM that I want to go to the location a week before the shoot. I want to watch the people there, I want to dress like them, I want to try and become one of the crowd. And I want to live in the hut, which is going to be shown as my home in the film. So SHYAM said, okay, fine, go ahead. And so I went to the village. I kept wearing those clothes, the kedia and the pajamas and the turban that they wear, and I observed the way they use their lathis, which is it's quite an amazing feat. The lathi becomes a part of their body, and they have the bharwats, they're called, the shepherds and the cattle keepers. Extremely graceful, elegant people, which I tried to emulate, but I don't think I succeeded too far. But I stayed in the costume all the time and tried to speak in the dialect that we were going to be using in the film. And then I told Shah, it was the first night, so I said I want to sleep in the hut. So I took my bedding and everything, and went to the hut to spend the night there. And I didn't last long because I saw a nice, beautiful black scorpion coming crawling towards me. And that black scorpion cured me of my method acting illness, which I really think is an illness. You know, there's too much is made of it. All this business about so-and-so actor driving a taxi for 6 months before he played a taxi driver, or so-and-so living in a wheelchair before the shooting of a film. None of this is becoming the character. It is all practice. So an actor who does these things is not doing anybody a favor. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing in order to portray the part properly. So apart from sleeping in the hut, which I didn't dare go near again, I learned to do whatever a character like I was playing would do. I looked after my cattle, I learned how to milk them, I learned how to wash them, I learned how to drill them, and I actually became friends with the buffalo who also features in the film. And I realized that that actors who forget that they are playing a part are the ones who get into all sorts of trouble and whose sanity gets endangered by identifying too closely with the character. And I just don't buy that, because if you have become the character, then you're no use to anybody. But anyway, a lot of very wonderful actors, wonderful friends, Amrish, Mohan Agashe, Smita. Girish was not a friend, Girish was my teacher. He was the director of the Film Institute. So it was an absolutely wonderful experience, and it got over too soon because I was really enjoying myself in that village and trying to assume a personality which was not my own. And the best part of it is that the farmers who had contributed all shared in the profits. Not just that, cooperatives sprung up all over the country in the next 10 years. The film was shown in villages, it was shown in places which had cooperatives to make them aware of the issues that they can possibly face. I personally had a screening in a little village of milk farmers near Mussoorie, and it was fascinating to watch the way these people were responding to that film. Because quite simply, it's a truthful film, and it's made with all the right intentions. None of us had any clue that there would be a song in it. And SHYAM decided to have the song after the film was made and edited. And Vanraj Bhatia, the music director, who's also gone, was trying to compose the theme for the titles. And SHYAM told me later, he said Vanraj was very unhappy because he wasn't getting what he wanted. And then after a while, after a day or two, he said, look, I need a voice here. I need a human voice. Just an instrumental number is not going to work. And Preeti Sagar happened to be there, the girl who sung the song, wonderful singer, who used to sing jingles for ads. And I'm certain you must have heard her voice. Her little sister, who was about 12 years old, was also sitting there. And while this discussion was going on between SHYAM and Vanraj, this little girl scribbled down something in Gujarati and then said to SHYAM, uncle, how is this? And she showed him the song which you actually heard in the film, written by a 12-year-old girl and composed by a 60-year-old composer, sung by a beautiful young woman. And Preeti herself says that after she had sung that song, she was so used to singing in a very pretty, dainty kind of voice, and SHYAM goaded her and pushed her into coarsening the voice and making it sound like a rustic girl singing, and that's exactly what it sounds like. And in fact, that song binds the film together. It's amazing what happens in the process of editing a movie. There is a saying that the film really gets made during the editing. And that is to a large extent very true, and definitely completely true in the case of Manthan. And another positive takeaway from Manthan, because a lot of people said it's like a very interesting documentary. And I have always found documentary films interesting to watch. I consider documentary films to be of more importance than features, because documentary films are the ones which capture reality as it is, without any ornamentation, without any comment, just capture what's happening and preserve it for posterity. And since then, in fact, there have been so many absolutely wonderful documentary films made in our country. It has proved to be a sort of a boost for documentary filmmakers. And if you think about it, film is the only medium which can actually record its times. Whether painting or poetry or sculpture or music or drama, sooner or later, if they want to go beyond the superficial level, they have to resort to abstraction of some kind. Film is the only medium, because film is a combination of theatre, architecture, photography, painting, music, sound recording. It's all the arts combined into it. And it can capture life exactly as it is, which I think is a very important function of cinema. I don't know whether cinema can change the world or whether cinema can alter a person's mindset, but it can encourage that mindset to move in the right, in the same direction. And ironically, that's what's happening in our country right now, where you see movies which are very skewed in their perception of certain communities, and they are catering to those who subscribe to that belief, to those beliefs. So in the same way, cinema can have a positive effect as well. At least that's what I hope. But even if it can't, I do consider it my responsibility as an actor to participate in such films. Not because I don't like entertaining films. Of course I do. Like any other actor, I too wanted to be famous. I wanted to be a star. When I was 19 and 20 years old, it was just coincidence that art films found me. I didn't choose them, they chose me. And since then I've been associated closely with them, and while doing these movies over the years, I've realized why it is that I am so devoted to these kind of films, some of which were not very good, admittedly, but I still have no regrets about the choices I've made. I should be, when I meet somebody who says, I've seen all your films, and I say, no way, no way. You haven't. You haven't seen the really bad ones. No, I did make some wrong choices as well. But then I'm a human after all, and it's not as if I said to myself that this is going to be a really bad film, I have to be in it. You know, I didn't say that to myself. I just hoped, against hope, that this would work out, and it didn't. But in many cases it did, and I'm deeply grateful to SHYAM, of course, to the support I got, the encouragement I got from my co-actors, and for the affection I have received from the audience. I'm really deeply grateful, and I think I've said whatever I had to say about Manthan. If there's anybody who wants to ask anything, thank you. For me, it was really a journey of my own ideas, where I realized that realistic acting is not the only thing. There's a lot more to be learned as an actor, apart from being believable. And luckily, after that, I got parts in films like Mrinalda's Khandar, in Gautam Ghosh's Par, in Ketan Mehta's films, in Saeed Mirza's films, in Sudhir Mishra's films. I got the opportunity to practice what I had learned.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shah, Mr. legendary actor NASIRUDDin Shah. So if you don't have a question, we can say that the session is closed. I invite you to discover the following program of the French Film Festival. I wanted also to mention numbers who are the first row, because I didn't see it the first time. Moi Chakabotitou, Mr. the Consul General, the balcony. So we watch your movie and we enjoy a lot. And you mentioned also Sudhir Mishra. He will be there for the closing ceremony. And we'll be screening also his famous movie, the 1st of March, 4 p.m. here in London. Enjoy the performance of legendary one more time. Thank you.